was speaking to a number of young mothers there, and one of them, she's been out of pocket for the last 9 weeks due to what seems to be a tax fraud control carried out by Concentrix on behalf of HMRC. What's your understanding of it, and what would you say to Concentrix and the tax office?
Well, our understanding is that Concentrix are being put in place by the British government to draw through millions of tax credit claims to see if there's people, for example, that are claiming single tax credits that should be claiming as a couple. Now, the biggest problem that we have with Concentrix is trying to get through to them on the phone. Their services and aren't manned correctly, in my opinion. We have been inundated with constituents coming into our offices right across Derry with the same problem. Now, the biggest problem, as I say, is getting through to Concentrix on the telephone. But when they're actually trying to ring, the constituent has to be here. Now, you could be trying there for maybe 40 minutes to an hour to try and get through to someone. Now, the teams when you get through are more than helpful to try and get these things sorted out. But it's the long time frames that need to be addressed by the HMRC and by Concentrix to try and get people's benefits back in place. This is people on low-income families, and their benefits have been stopped for up to maybe 9 weeks and more. And it's a big chunk that's coming out of their weekly income, and we're calling on both Concentrix and HMRC to get this addressed and get it addressed quickly. And if these investigations have to be carried out, then they need to be manned correctly within the department to make sure that people aren't waiting for these long periods of time.
How much are you out of per week in terms of your weekly income?
£64 every Thursday.
That's a big lump.
And that's what we have no way, look. And for me, see, my brother alone doesn't do two people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they just didn't care. They just said either one didn't know what the other one was doing, or they couldn't get through.
Yeah.
I was down there like 2-3 times a week.
Right. Where? Post office. The SLP. So they helped you sort of.
About 3 times a week, yeah.
Right.
And they were ringing up every day nearly. You know what I mean? Every time I was down, and as I say, most times I didn't get through. And then when they did get through, they said, "Oh, we'll get it sorted," and it was meant to sort it last week, but eventually they got it sorted this week, and I'll give me money back tomorrow. I was never given the Concentrix number myself. One of these ones.
Right. So you're doing it down there.
And the only thing is, I always had to be there too. They could never ring up without me being there because I had to go through security questions.
I'm with you. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, as I say, 2-3 times a week down there, and then eventually, then Rory in today was able to say, "You'll get your money tomorrow and you'll get your money next week as normal."
Which is a great relief to you.
It was a great relief, but that's what I'm saying. If it wasn't my family, I had to get lanes constantly because you were away and you have to get stuff. But they just didn't seem to care, and as I say, one didn't know what the other ones do. They really didn't.
Have you had any joy speaking to HMRC directly about this? Or?
Well, eventually when we do get through to these, to both Concentrix and HMRC, the investigations have to be carried out, and we understand that. But what we're asking for is that they be carried out in a quickly and timely manner. The biggest issue that we're having, as I said, is getting through on the phone. Now, we've had a number of constituents that we've had in, that we've been able to resolve their complaints, and the investigations have been carried out, and their money have been back, and their claims have been put back in the place, and their benefits have been reinstated. Now, but the problem being is that it's taken too long. They're being asked to provide documents, for example, rent agreements, bank statements, Sky TV accounts, all
the paperwork. It's all jumping through hoops, basically.
All jumping through hoops. Sometimes they actually come back and say that they haven't received them or they've been lost. What we're advising people to do is to send it recorded delivery, because that way then we know that we've got it. But we would also call on Concentrix to open up a dedicated elected representatives line so that we can get through, like most government departments have, so that we can get through very, very quickly for our constituents, because mornings there you come on and we have maybe 4 or 5 people queuing in the office waiting to get through to Concentrix. And unfortunately, when we get through in one time, the same advisor can't take the same call. So you then have to hang up to deal with someone else. You're then waiting again another half an hour to 40 minutes to try and get through.
So my money stopped seeing clears. So I was working beforehand, and I just literally signed on. So I was just went from working tax credits to child tax credits. Paid 1 week. The next day that was it. Wasn't paid. So I was like, right, no, maybe it was just all the systems updating or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So I let it go a week later 2 weeks down the line, I was like, Jesus, because it's £109. I was missing it in a week, every Thursday.
Right, that's what you were...
I said, I'm over here, I have 2 weeks, I have 2 years.
I'm with you,
And so I was like, oh, what's going to happen? So we're down to the Emmons as well, because they are happy days. So he rang for me and they said that they needed me P60, so I tried to get off my employer. So happy days, but got all that sorted and went down, put the information through and they said, right, that'll take 2 to 3 days because it's just updating the system, that's all it'll take. Happy days.
You weren't paid today.
We're paid today, so and we have to just wait and we kept dealing with it.
And it's just you're trying to get by and it's...
That's the way I
You're trying to
have
find
maybe
your-
about 10 people off the top of my head now, it's in the exact same position as us. And I'm joking.
It's widespread then.
It's a joke.
And what, did you get a scary letter in the post or what?
It's Concentrix, I don't understand it. I was like, Jesus, what's this?
You see Concentrix and say, what the hell's this?
So I had to go down to him and he explained what it was and how why
People getting investigated.
people was getting investigated and
for fraud.
so I don't get it. I don't nightmare.
And it's time consuming for people, it's time consuming for us, but the biggest problem is that people's benefits are being stopped and those benefits need to be reinstated if there's no signs of fraud or and the investigation has been carried out thoroughly.
Is it the Belfast number you're ringing or is it a generic number?
Well, there's a Belfast number that we're ringing, but we're also ringing we're really trying to get through anyway. We'll speak to anyone about it.
I tried ringing to get through to Belfast this morning and I couldn't get through.
Well, I'm not surprised. We've been ringing all day. Now, thankfully today we've got a number of constituents. We have got through a few times. We have a number of constituents that we've been sorted out, and I believe you've been just speaking to one.
Yeah.
That lady's benefits were stopped for 9 weeks, and she done everything in her power to try and get them reinstated.
It's more than £60 a week for her.
Yeah, more than £60 a week, and I think it's back pay now of somewhere in the region of £500 to £600, which she'll be getting back.
Yeah.
Which is, it's a big lump sum over a 9 week period for people in low-income families. These benefits need to be paid out, and they need to be paid out very, very quickly. Concentrix really need to address this issue, but also so does HMRC, because Concentrix, remember, are being employed by HMRC to carry out these investigations.